A line in the sand, a river, a wall. For generations, the southern border of the United States has been more than a geographical boundary. It's a symbol, a destination, a place where dreams and desperation collide. Every year, millions of people from around the world look towards this border, driven by forces as old as humanity itself. The search for safety, for opportunity, for a better life. But the journey is fraught with peril, and the destination is far from certain. This is the story of the U.S. immigration crisis, a complex web of policy, poverty, and personal sacrifice. It begins thousands of miles away. In a village in Honduras, a farmer watches his crops fail again, a victim of changing climate and economic collapse. In a city in Venezuela, a mother struggles to find medicine for her sick child amidst political turmoil. In Haiti, families flee gang violence that has consumed their neighborhoods. These are not abstract statistics. They are individuals facing impossible choices. Stay and risk everything, or leave and face the unknown. The decision to migrate is rarely a simple one. It's an act of hope, born from a lack of it. The journey north is a grueling odyssey. Migrants, often with little more than the clothes on their backs, traverse dense jungles like the Darien Gap, a notoriously dangerous stretch of wilderness connecting South and North America. They face treacherous terrain, extreme weather, and the constant threat of exploitation by smugglers, known as coyotes, who profit from their desperation. Many don't make it. The stories of those who disappear are whispered warnings among fellow travelers. Yet the procession continues, a testament to the powerful forces pushing them forward. Those who reach the U.S.-Mexico border encounter a different kind of challenge. Here, the landscape is a patchwork of arid desert, bustling cities, and the ever-present border wall. They find themselves at the intersection of U.S. law, international agreements, and a deeply polarized political debate. The system they face is a labyrinth. There's asylum, a legal protection for those fleeing persecution. But proving a credible fear of returning home is a high bar, and the legal process can take years. The backlog of cases in U.S. immigration courts is staggering, leaving millions in a state of limbo. We see the images on the news, large groups of people waiting at entry points, children in crowded processing centers, Border Patrol agents on horseback. These snapshots capture moments of a much larger ongoing reality. The facilities are often overwhelmed. Resources are stretched thin. For border communities, the influx brings both humanitarian challenges and economic strain. Local shelters and nonprofits run by compassionate citizens work tirelessly to provide food, clothing, and temporary shelter. But they are often at capacity, struggling to meet the overwhelming need. It's a crisis that unfolds daily, not just for the migrants, but for the American towns that become their first point of contact. The political response has been a pendulum, swinging back and forth with each new administration. Policies shift from zero tolerance to more humanitarian approaches, each creating new realities on the ground. One administration builds more sections of the wall, while the next halts construction. Rules for asylum seekers change, sometimes overnight, creating confusion and uncertainty. This lack of a consistent long-term strategy leaves everyone involved, migrants, border agents, and local communities, invading a constantly changing landscape of rules and enforcement priorities. The debate in Washington feels a world away from the human reality at the border. At the heart of this issue are fundamental questions about national identity and responsibility. What does it mean to be a nation of immigrants in the 21st century? How does a country balance national security with its humanitarian obligations? There are no easy answers. Some argue for stricter enforcement and a secure border above all else. Citing concerns about law and order and the economic burden on social services, they believe that uncontrolled immigration undermines the rule of law. Others advocate for a more compassionate, open approach, emphasizing the economic benefits immigrants bring and the moral imperative to welcome those in need. They point to America's history as a beacon of hope and a melting pot of cultures. The truth is, the system is pulled between these two poles. It's a system that simultaneously tries to deter and to process, to reject and to welcome. This contradiction is at the core of the crisis. And what becomes of those who make it across? For some, the journey ends in detention centers. For others, it's a bus ticket to a city they've never heard of, where they must begin the daunting task of building a new life while navigating a complex legal system. They find work in the shadows of the economy in agriculture, construction, and service industries, often for low wages and with few protections. They contribute to the fabric of American society, yet live with the constant fear of deportation. Their children, many of whom are U.S. citizens by birth, grow up in households split by legal status, straddling two worlds. This is not just an American issue, it's a global one. Economic instability, political violence, and climate change are displacing people worldwide at unprecedented levels. The pressures seen at the U.S. southern border are mirrored in Europe. Africa, and Asia. The movement of people is a defining feature of our time, and every nation is grappling with how to respond. The solutions, if they exist, must be as complex as the problems themselves. They require international cooperation, addressing the root causes of migration in home countries and creating a legal immigration system that is orderly, humane, and fair. The line in the sand remains, and every day people continue to arrive, carrying their stories, their hopes, and their fears. Looking beyond the politics and the headlines, we see a collection of human beings, each with a story. A father trying to feed his family, a young woman escaping violence, a child who dreams of going to school without fear. Their journey challenges us to look at our own values, to question our responsibilities to one another, and to consider what it truly means to be a neighbor in an interconnected world. The crisis at the border is not just about them, it's about us, and how we choose to respond will define who we are.